Hey, new law students in Australia, you need to get across one of the most important High Court decisions in legal history, and that is Mabo versus Queensland. This case completely reshaped our understanding of constitutional law, Indigenous rights, and the foundations of property law in Australia. The case was brought by Eddie Mabo, a Miriam man from the Murray Islands in the Torres Strait. He, along with other plaintiffs, claimed that their people had lived on and owned land long before colonisation. The Queensland government rejected their claim, relying on the concept of Terra Nullius, a Latin term meaning land belonging to no one. Under this doctrine, the British claimed sovereignty over Australia in 1788 on the assumption that the land was uninhabited or that no one had a recognisable system of land ownership. Well, Eddie Mabo's legal challenge was simple but powerful. We've always lived here, and we have traditional laws and customs that govern land ownership. So this presented two key legal questions. Does the common law of Australia recognise a form of native title? And if so, had the native title of the Miriam people been extinguished by the Crown or State of Queensland? The High Court found in favour of Mabo and the other plaintiffs. The court recognised native title in Australian law for the first time. It ruled that the doctrine of terra nullius was legally invalid. It ignored the presence of Indigenous peoples and their systems of law. The court held that native title exists where Indigenous people have maintained a continuous connection to the land, and that it can coexist with Crown land unless it has been lawfully extinguished. Justice Brennan, the leading judgment, I quote, "The fiction by which the rights and interests of Indigenous habitants in land were treated as non-existent is unacceptable." This case established several key legal principles. First, native title is part of the common law of Australia. Native title is not granted by the Crown. It arises from traditional laws and customs, and it can be extinguished by inconsistent Crown acts, but only if done validly and with proper legislative authority. It was also a huge development in the principle of equality before the law and recognising Indigenous Australians as having rights predating colonisation. Mabo changed the Australian legal landscape. It led to the introduction of the Native Title Act 1993, and it created a legal framework for Indigenous Australians to claim land rights under certain conditions. It also forced Australians to confront the absolute legal fiction of terra nullius and acknowledge the long-standing relationship between Indigenous peoples and the land.